budget being eroded, and you want to increase our taxes for roads, I would like to say to you, we have the second highest car insurance rates in the country. We are the second worst state to retire to since you implemented the tax on pensions and made the big tax shift of 1.2 billion. I'm just wondering why you can't say no to the governor. He got his bridge. Obama just said he could have it. He should be as happy as a bug in a rug, as they say. I would like to see you not raise taxes, and I know you want us to vote probably on raising the sales tax, and I would say no to that. We have 6%, which is plenty high, and 5 out of 50 states currently have a 7% sales tax, and I don't want to see Michigan go there. Thank you.
Well, one of my concerns with road funding is each one of us have put hard-earned tax dollars in those roads. Just like you spent hard-earned money for the homeowners in this room, invested in their homes. The dilemma we have is our funding mechanism sits at a constant. And while asphalt costs increase, steel costs increase, these are realities we have. So it's like as you have your own home budgets, things have increased. But you do have to face at times you have to put shingles on your house. If you don't put shingles on your home, what's the value of the house going to be? What is that investment that you've done in your house? What's that going to have in return?
So we pay mileage.
Exactly. We have a challenge there. We have a static number, a defined tax base that's coming for our roads. And we put hard-earned tax. The hard-working men and women of the state of Michigan have, sacrificed their equity in the roads. How, as a small business owner, I analyze these things. How do we preserve that investment? That's a challenge I lay out. But I appreciate your points.
Thank you.
Can I ask the question? Can I just ask this question? How many people think the roads are in good shape?
I do want to bring to Georgetown Township and let's drive down the ball, the gateway of my district.
May I just say
It's a disaster.
I'm sorry, but yeah.
Excuse me, with that question, I need to reiterate, the governor said he wants to use all the money for state trunk lines, and he wants the counties, like the Ottawa County Road Commission, to also tax, put on a registration fee, not just at the state level, but at the local level. So you haven't seen the end of this.
Yeah.
I say you need to tell him, no, he got his birthday present last year, he's getting his bridge, he's had enough. Thank you.
I just have to say, there's nothing decided on the transportation study. And in fact, I think this week there'll be a bill introduced on the no-fault reform, from what we're hearing. We know some lobbyists have seen it before we have, so.
It's the no-fault return.
Again, I haven't seen it, so there will be some, like you said, we do have very high insurance rates. There's going to be some reform to all of that. But so I guess I want to add, that's one of the takeaways I want to have is people are pretty much in agreement that we need our roads are not in good shape. It's just how to do it. It's the overriding concern. Do we do sales tax? Yeah, so that's where we are right now.
Okay, there's a question back here. Yeah, in the back. Oh,
Yeah.
Steve. Okay.
Yeah. For Mr. Haveman, years ago, England made a big deal about all the state employees he cut back, but then they hired some of those same folks back as contractors, paid them more money, and it was kind of a shell game. You're talking about a reduction in state employees. Is it a real reduction, or have we just hired a bunch of them back and paid them more money as contractors?
That's a great question. I thought about that too. If you saw the general fund go up, continue to fund, I would say that would be a problem. It would show that it's not real savings. The general fund has stayed pretty well stable. Restricted funds is pretty stable, as I showed you. It's the federal funds that have gone up. Were some of those used to hire people back? Probably. I don't know the numbers, but you're right. If you look at any number in a vacuum, that's the whole thing. It's not a lie with statistics. But I don't think that's the case. I think we are, from what I've seen, doing more with less. Not to say that there isn't room for more savings. There will always be room for more savings. there'll always be room to gain efficiencies. You'll never get done with that. You continue to go after it and keep going after it.
I appreciate that. I used to spend a lot of time in my previous career going through all the cubicles in Lansing, and if I had a spray can, like you spray trees to cut out, I would have used that to get a lot of positions.
Whoa, okay. All right, there's a question up here and a question back there, and then I'm going to ask the representative to summarize their takeaways. Okay, could you identify yourself?
I'm just curious, where does the Michigan State lottery play into this? Because years ago, it was really gonna fill our pockets full of money.
For education.
Yeah,
Rob, sorry.
the state lottery provides for education. It provides enough funds, yeah, well, but it's one of the components. And I was on the town today, we were talking about that, what we call it. And I did a little more research. The lottery will provide enough funding for our K through 12 for 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
6% of the overall K-12 budget.
So it's a component, and I would, if you take that money away, so then we have to come up, as Joe highlighted the budget, we go somewhere in that general fund and try to carve out those funds. But that's, put these numbers in mind. 3 weeks of funding is achieved through our lottery.
And just to give you an idea, the last number I remember, the lottery had about $785 million a year. West Ottawa Schools budget is $60 million. So we have 524 different school districts in the state, I think. Start parsing that out. West Ottawa's pretty big, so you start thinking about that. West Ottawa takes $60 million of the $785 million. You can tell how how small the lottery portion is for overall funding of K-12.
But it's a component.
All right, Carl, there's one more question in the back, and then I'm gonna let these folks summarize, right? So, Pam?
Hi, Pam Sternallen from Holland Charter Township. I was just wondering, what are all of the taxes that, or the revenues that we collect for roads, is that all currently going to the roads, the 100% of it? Or are we sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul kind of thing, and now we don't have good roads?
Well, what we collect under the formula is going where it belongs.
Okay.
Talking about the formula, as Amanda talked about, so much of our sales tax goes toward schools, a little bit of it goes toward roads, a lot of our gas tax goes toward schools. That's been one of the complaints of people saying, well, just take our gas tax and put it toward roads. That's easy, but then you carve out another hole somewhere else that we have to fill. So I don't know if that answered your question.
It does, yeah.
And it's unique. When you go to the pump, the tax that you're paying at the pump has elasticity to it. It can go up as a price. It doesn't go to the roads. That's the most frustrating point. So if we had a component of the tax that is really price going up, and then that would be contributing to the roads, we wouldn't have this issue. If our current funding formula was adjusted for inflation, had elasticity to it, we would have additional we would have an $800 million additional revenue coming in, and we would not be in a situation because we would have preserved our investment in the road, and we would be talking about some other issue at this point.
Right, the last Ottawa County meeting I went to, they were talking about adjusting that, where things go, that formula. And what are the odds that that'll get adjusted, or is there everything else just?
I feel that's a major component. If I look at a potential funding formula, I think we need to have elasticity in this funding formula,
Sure.
or we will just continue to repeat the same scenario time after time after time.
Is there support for that in the legislature?
That's where my voice will be.
Yay, Roger!
All right, it's 8 o'clock, all right, and I hope you all gained something from this exchange with Roger and Amanda and Joe. I know I
Yes,
learned.
thank you.
What I'd like them now to take a couple of minutes each in turn is to share with us what they think they have gained, learned, found out from having this dialogue with a small fraction of their constituents. So we'll start with Joe. You want to start, or do you want